Alright, so as far as calibrating, once you first plug in the seat sense, there's going to be several things that pop up. Just hit OK on everything. These displays come set up as a 16-row planner already, and we just need to go in there and change those few things. So you would go to setup, equipment, set up your planner, John Deere 12-row, spacing, meter type will be V-set vac, drive type V-drive, downforce is Delta Force, John Deere Smart Pin. Fertility system, that was it. If they're doing V-apply, that would be selected. Need to select V-drive insecticide if they have V-drive insecticide, and then soil system would be Smart Firmer. Go in and enter your planner measurements. Make sure it's set up for a single frame type 3-point. On this particular tractor, it's hooked to a strip till rig, so our wheel distances are different. So basically you're measuring from the fixed axle to seat exit and wheel distance. Usually wheel distance and seat exit are the same number. Go to tractor measurements, type in those few things, hitch, offsets. It's kind of self-explanatory there. GPS offset check doesn't have to be done right this minute. Usually once you pull it into the field, you'll do that by dropping a flag next to the outside gauge wheel. You hit continue. Once you start, you go down, turn around and come back, and you'll hit continue again once you stop within those limits. And then that's pretty well it, and you'll need to save it. I usually save it with this is David Thornton's tractor, so I saved it as Thornton #1 and then 8360R, because when I look at these on Climate Field View, all I see is that name, so I just kind of use their name to associate it to that tractor. Once you've done that, you can go in here to setup again, go to diagnose, and up here at the top you'll see a little thing going around saying whether it's updating, and some of these will be red, some will be yellow, some will be white, and it takes it a few minutes for everything to upgrade firmware. If you've got one, like say from 7 to 12 is red out, or it's not green and it's through, it seems to be through updating, you don't see the little update up here at the top, go back there and check where the main harness plugs into the SRM on the actual row unit, and make sure that it's plugged in good. Check some connections. It could be as simple as right there where that black plug plugs into the SRM module. That happens a lot. And if you find something like that that's unplugged, you get back in the cab, you'll hit reset modules, yes, and it's going to flash everything again and start back over. And so if you find that loose connection and fix it, it will pick up where it left off and start updating therefore. This one should come back green once it's done. And so we have everything green here now. So that's pretty well it for right now. And then you can go in there to set up systems, and you need to you may have to set up, you're gonna have to set up a rate section for all right here, and control style will be single row most of the time, unless it's something custom. If they're wanting to do a skip row, you'll need to set that up. And go in here to lift switch. You can calibrate that. Just go to run calibration. It's going to tell you to lower the planner completely, and then hit OK. And it's going to tell you to raise the planner completely, then hit OK. and it's going to tell you to set it at drive engagement height. That's when the toolbar is lowered and the parallel arms just start to raise up, and you'll hit OK, and it's going to say either good or bad, whether that calibration is accepted, and you'll hit OK. Now as far as the radar goes, you'll need to get out in the field. You don't have to be engaged on a line, but you'll need to be driving at least 4 miles an hour. You'll hit calibrate radar, and you'll run for about 300 feet, and it will set its own pulses per foot, and you accept it. Now as far as the PDM setup goes, set it to gyro, then GPS. PDM location on all of our planners will be decal up, fuses forward. And then once you stop the planner, you hit press to 0, and it counts down for about 2 seconds, and that's complete. Something I always do on the display sound is turn everything down to around 20%, because the alarms on these things are way too loud. Other than that, once all that's set up, you'll go back in here to diagnose and go to health check. And starting right here, all these things will be yellow. And so you can turn your tractor off, but the key forward to give the 2020 display power. But if you go into these voltage checks and hit continue, hold up your outside 2 lift switches, they will start their running back there. And if the tractor's off, you can actually hear them speed up and slow down. And just a little, I always like to hear them run. And you can do this one, all your V-drive health checks, V-drive insecticide health checks, and then delta force voltage current with the tractor off. Once you get here to the air purge test, you'll hit it, and right here where your supply pressure is, you'll need to engage that delta force remote, either forward or back, whatever will give you at least 2800 psi. Also in here, make sure your remote is turned down to at least halfway. You don't want to be any higher than about 5 on the remote. But once you engage that remote, should give you, this one's a little higher, so anywhere from 28 to 3300 psi. You'll hit continue. Same deal, you'll hold up your outside 2 lift switches, and it's going to extend the cylinders 3 times in and out, purging all the air out. I usually run that test twice just to make sure all the extra air is out. And then you can pin your cylinder, so you'll need to shut your tractor off and remove the pressure from the SCV from SCV by doing that. And pin your cylinders, all the lower pins. And then once that's done, you can get back in here and run your applied force test, and the row units will move. So once you go into that, you hit continue, engage your remote again, and hold up your outside 2 lift switches. During this test, all the row units should lift at once and drop off one by one. Once that one's, you'll go to the advanced applied force test, and all your row units will lift and drop one by one when you run that one. And just double check here on the diagnose page that all your stuff is green, and that's pretty well it. You also need to check, you'll need to go into your Trimble display, and under GPS setup, go to GPS output. On this one, I'm plugged into port A on the back, and so here's your settings. Out port A, 5 Hertz, 19200. maximum quality 1, precision at 8, and then under your NEMA messages make sure GGA, VTG, and RMC are on. And if you refer back here, just by hitting up here in the corner, it'll give you your GPS data. And that's pretty well it as far as setup goes.